Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and as I like to remind you, each and every day, it expands our base. So, there is so much in the news today dealing with Donald Trump that I've had to try to figure out what we should discuss. And let me begin with this. Jimmy Carter will be buried on January 9th. He'll have a state funeral in the Capitol, and it's an important day because we always remember our former presidents. But there's a problem for Donald Trump, and that is that when you have a former president who dies, there is a 30-day period of mourning. And during that period of time, the American flag is flown at half-staff everywhere. I drove by the post office yesterday. It's at half-staff everywhere on every federal property. Well, Donald Trump is very upset because on the day of his inauguration, January 20th, the American flag will be flown at half-staff everywhere. And he says very clearly that nobody wants to see this. They want a full-fledged celebration of Donald Trump becoming president. It's a curious thing for me because when a former president dies, there is a protocol that applies to every former president. I remember when Richard Nixon passed away and the funeral took place, of course, in the end in Yorba Linda. He was laid to rest at the presidential library there. And people said, well, why are they saying all those nice things about him? Have you ever been to a funeral where nice things were not said about the person who died? I mean, stop and think about it. But more important, there is an American tradition. And I can assure you that when in the future Donald Trump dies, the flags will fly at half-staff and things that are very nice will be said about him. Oh, it's true. There will be criticisms. I've heard them already of Jimmy Carter to a degree, and we'll hear them about every former president who dies. But for Donald Trump to be so petty, so small, as to ask that the flag be flown at, well, full staff, and yet the decision has been made and it will be a half staff. Then there is the question of the president-elect of the United States claiming credit for the fall of the Trudeau government in Canada. Now, we know that Donald Trump deprecated Justin Trudeau by calling him the governor of Canada. He has suggested that Canada would be better served if it became the 51st state of the United States. There are things that he has said that are absolutely astounding. And let me assure you, for a president of the United States to claim responsibility for the fall of a Canadian prime minister, I mean, frankly, I find it incomprehensible. Justin Trudeau has been prime minister for 9 years. He has led a minority government. He has been a steadfast ally of the United States. For Donald Trump to suggest that Canada should not be an independent nation, but should join the United States, and indeed to go further and say that's what the Canadian people want, is absolutely absurd. Oh, by the way, you know where Donald Trump Jr. is going this week? To Greenland. Why? Well, he's going to take a look. Because according to Donald Trump, Greenland should be part of the United States of America. Well, Denmark is not particularly happy about that suggestion. But do you understand the absurdity of these statements? Now, there is a third element here, and that is Jack Smith, the independent counsel, who resigned upon the election of Donald Trump so he would not be fired, is completing his investigation, has completed, I should say, his investigation of what happened on January 6th and whether Trump is culpable, and also about the papers that were removed from the Capitol, from the White House, and brought to Mar-a-Lago. And those papers really were a national security breach in my judgment. But okay, put all that aside. We know now that Jack Smith's investigation is complete. on these two major areas of culpability, potentially, of Donald Trump. And now Donald Trump's lawyers are seeking that this report, which has been prepared, should be sealed, that we should not see the results of the investigation. Again, to me, it is absolutely absurd as the argument made that the Nixon tapes should not be played, that we should never hear them. This is unconscionable. Donald Trump should want full disclosure if he did nothing wrong. And then, of course, there's the Proud Boys leader, Enrique Tarrio, who is now participating in a request to Donald Trump that he be granted a pardon. Remember, he was convicted of sedition and put in jail for 22 years. That's the sentence. And now he's asking Donald Trump to pardon him. And of course, Donald Trump has said that everything was perfect on January 6th, 4 years ago, that it was simply unconscionable that those who rioted and caused an insurrection or tried to cause an insurrection should be punished. And of course, we have seen Donald Trump celebrate those individuals and to promise pardons as soon as he becomes president. In fact, we talked about this some time ago, but Donald Trump has said the minute he becomes president, he wants to sign those pardons. There is a question here. There is no doubt that Proud Boys were a major force 4 years ago in trying to disrupt the American political process. There are a lot of things we'll be talking about in the future, no doubt about it, and a lot will deal with Donald Trump. I just chose these 4 elements to discuss with you today because, frankly, I was deeply disturbed by them. I don't want a president who will not lower a flag to half-staff for a predecessor. I don't want a president who will go after the leader of another nation and when that leader decides to step out, claim credit for it. I don't want a president who, when a study is done, as Jack Smith's report is done, who is now trying to cover it up. And frankly, we will see in just a few weeks whether Donald Trump will pardon those who participated in an insurrection on January the 6th. I've just highlighted these few items, and I hope during the course of the next 4 years, as we go on this great journey of a Donald Trump presidency, that we will be able to talk about other things without having to say the things I'm saying now. A Donald Trump presidency worries me. That's all there is to it. And I hope that what I've done today is to illustrate just 4 examples of why it should worry you as well. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which, of course, is our goal. You can interact with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or you can email me. And, of course, my special appreciation to Gogo Zoger, who is the wonderful producer of Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you tomorrow.